Hello, it's Wednesday, March 5th. Thank you for joining us for Up to the Minute. I'm Dr. Lana Pigow, Communications Director at Northwest College, and here's where you can find us. We're on the Houston City District Facebook page and YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and on HCC TV at noon, 5 and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday. Well, today for Great Works Wednesday, we'll be speaking with Heather Butscher, Vice President of Health Strategies at the American Heart Association, about the organization's mission of saving lives in communities and to share helpful tips for students on how to stay healthy. The American Heart Association is committed to improving lives by discovering innovative approaches to support overall healthy lifestyles. The organization also focuses on researching medical breakthroughs to better treat cardiovascular and brain diseases. And we will be with Heather in just about 10 minutes. But first, we'll be speaking with Tatianna Mott. She's the communications advisor and producer at Our Power Media. She'll be sharing valuable insight on how students can avoid the pressures of burnout while pursuing their career ambitions. Tatianna Mott emphasizes the importance of raising awareness about maintaining a healthy balance between professional goals and overall mental health and well-being. Welcome to the show, Tatianna.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you've said that the world of young adults entering the workforce right now, it's not normal. How can economic instability, social media pressure, and global crisis uniquely shaping this generation's mental health? I know in the morning, the first thing my son does is he picks up his phone. It drives me crazy. I think that's the last thing he does at night too.
Yep, and that is probably the worst thing you can do, right? Because that sets the tone for your day, and then it also is what is the last thing on your mind as you go into your sleep and your subconscious.
Right.
So actually, it is advised to not do that. If
Right,
you're going to be on
right.
your phone, have your dry time in the morning and your dry time at night. But as a millennial, I know all about graduating from college into chaos because I graduated right during the recession. So I got the
Oh.
beginning of when the world started really changing. And now with social media, everything is just like, it's just expedited. Like every day, one more new thing happens. And of course, in the last year, it's been even more. So one of the things that I always stress with people is as you're going about your day, right? There's the hustle, there's the grind, there's all of that, but are you checking in with yourself? Because it can be very, very easy to lose sight of where you are mentally, where you are physically. Or did you eat this morning? Did you drink some water? Like
Right.
things like that.
That's great. Well, many people think of mental health as just therapy or self-care. How do you define mental wellness more holistically, and what practical supports do young adults need?
Mental wellness is a mixture of things, right? Because our brain is still a physical organ. So yes, it is therapy, it is talk therapy, it's all of that. But then also making sure, like I said, that you're eating, that you're staying hydrated, that you're taking the right nutrients and vitamins, because all of that ties into the neuroscience behind what then stirs into your mental wellness. So there's that. I think for young people, in addition to social media and just being in this world where I don't know how much they realize that their algorithms are curated in a way to keep them dysregulated. The algorithms are purposely, you can be living in one world in your algorithm, and someone else is living in a very different world in their algorithm. So if you're not understanding why you're not seeing eye to eye with your peers, it's because they're living in a different world than you're living in. And so being able to understand that not everyone is against you, that the people that you come across that might seem like, oh, I don't like this person because they think this way, being able to give that grace of understanding they might be being taught something different than you're being taught.
Right.
So how do we then build community and grow together and bridge those gaps that are intentionally being created for us?
Yeah. Well, it seems to be burnout seems to be becoming the default, especially for high achievers. Why do you think so many young adults feel pressure to monetize every skill and have life figured out by 25? I mean, everybody wants to be an influencer or some type of celebrity.
have you seen the price of groceries?
Mm.
Not that the young people are buying a lot of groceries, but have you seen the price of fast food?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like back in the day when things were more affordable, we could have hobbies. But
Mm-hmm.
now, if you're having a hobby and you're not finding a way to make money off of it, you're wasting time. That's what it feels like, right?
Right,
So
right.
there's that pressure to monetize everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then once again, the social media algorithms are telling you that this is how you're supposed to live, that here's a new, this. In fact, I actually have a workshop coming up today at the Houston Public Library about how to start a side hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways that I'm approaching it is the side hustle isn't to add on to your plate. It's to make sure that you're still being fed. So if your 9 to 5 is the thing that you go to just so you can make money, what are you doing in your time after that is feeding you? So it can be just a hobby, but if you also want to figure out how to use the resources you have to turn that hobby into something else,
Mm-hmm.
you can without burning out. So to get back to your question, burnout is real because we're constantly being fed new information every 5 seconds. And it's no way around that until you unplug.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta unplug.
Yeah, yeah. I know what that feels like. Sometimes you just put the phone down and stop
Mhm.
looking at anything that's just making me anxious. Well, you emphasize that community is a protective factor. What does meaningful community look like for students today? And how can it reduce anxiety and depression?
That is a great question. For me, community is who do you have as a human resource, right? We talk about financial resources, what money do you have, but who do you have as a human resources, as a human resource? So who in your community, your friends, your family, your classmates, who do you have that if and I don't want to make it dark, but if we all had to like shelter in place today, who can you call on to be like, all right, I'll do all the cooking and I'll fix the things when they don't work. And I'm really good at first aid. Like, who do you have around you just in building that little world? But then also, who do you have around you where you can be your most authentic self? In school, there's a lot of pressure to, be socially on and like, oh, I
Right.
gotta do what all the other
And
kids are
sometimes
doing.
conform. Yeah.
hmm But when can you just be yourself? When can you be that weird, awkward, no one's judging you? You might say the wrong thing, but they know it's not coming from
Right.
your heart. It's just because,
Yeah.
you're a little weird. Like that's how you can build community and fight against anxiety because you can turn it off. You
Yeah.
can unplug and turn it off.
Great. Well, what inspired the creation of the Our Power Summit, and how does it uniquely combine business, wellness, civic engagement, creativity, and technology in one space?
Yes, so the Our Power Summit is coming up March 20th to 21st. And it came about because I've done a lot of events. I've worked on Oprah's 2020 Vision Tour. I've hosted concerts and all kinds of events. And I've done workshops where I felt like people enjoyed the workshop, but they enjoyed building the community more.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were just like, yeah, I made so many friends at your last event. And so I'm like, okay, noted that when you curate an event a certain way, you can help build community. I love going to conferences for that reason. And I've been to a few conferences lately where it felt like that community part was missing, where people go strictly for the name. Like, oh, this is a conference that I see every year. Like, I want to go. It's the place to be. It costs a gazillion dollars, but it's what everyone's doing. Like, I want to be able to show off on social media that I was at this conference. But what did you get out of it?
Right.
Did you learn anything? Did you get any new resources or tools that could help you with everything we're dealing with? Did you make a new friend? Did you make a new connection where like, hey, I'm building something and you're building something. We're building in silos. Why don't we build together? And so the Our Power Summit was my answer to that of like, if I want to see that, why don't I just create it?
Yeah, so I love the phrase turning anxiety into agency. What are some tangible tools or strategies that help young adults move from feeling that overwhelmed anxiety to feeling equipped and empowered?
Ooh, okay. So in addition to unplugging, some other things that young people can do to feel more equipped and lessen that anxiety would be to see what resources they have. So in addition to human resources, right? What else do you have in your corner, right? Do you have a library card? Do you have access to, here at school, do they have access to certain clubs where if they enjoy, if dancing is their outlet, like for me, dancing is my outlet. If I'm not moving my body, I'm anxious. Once I start moving, I put some music on, I'm fine. So like, do they have dance classes that they can sign up for in their free time? Do they have, a karaoke night that they can go to? What resources and things do you have in your own community that you can use? And then as far as tools, library card is my biggest one. I don't know what y'all have on campus, but I love the tech link in the libraries here. Man, I'm not wearing my earrings that I made now, but I made earrings, I made hats. I go to the library and have fun. But then part of my workshop that I'm doing later is that, I was like, well, if I'm going to make these earrings, why not sell a few of them? Make a couple extra dollars.
Yeah, there's your
But,
stuff.
Yep.
Well, thank you for your time, Tatianna Mott, communication advisor and producer at Our Power Media, and we'll have your information in our post after this show. Thank you for coming down.
Sounds good. Also, I didn't mention that for students, if anyone would like to join the summit, we have a special student rate. So all they have to do is email summit@ourpowermedia.com.
Great. I'm sure that's very helpful. Well, coming up after this quick commercial break, we'll talk with Heather Butscher.
For over 50 years, HCC has been here for you. Affordable, accessible, focused on your success. This is your college, growing, evolving, expanding with you. More bachelor's degrees, stronger workforce training, online learning with global reach. A new name, the same mission, bigger vision. Houston City College, local focus, global reach. Register now at hccs.edu.
Our individual voices are powerful, but not everything has a voice. Let us be a voice to the voiceless. It's time to speak up for nature.
Poison Help is a free 24/7 hotline that answers all of your poison questions in over 100 languages.
Hello? Poison Help?
Hello? When poison happens, we're here for you. Just call Poison Help, 1-800-222-1222.
When a child is fighting a critical illness, one truth touches us all. Every child deserves a childhood. A wish sparks a ripple of hope that transforms communities far and wide. And when we grant wishes together, we create a movement of kindness, strength, and unity. Yay! Become a wish maker today and be part of a journey that truly changes lives.
My name is Jeff. Having a traumatic brain injury is understanding you were a lot smarter before the accident. I lost so many traits. Food donations from Suncoast Center of Independent Living helped me tremendously. It can mean fully paying the bills off. That's one of the biggest gifts right there. I have a purpose again. Life goes on.
We come from a long line of farmers, and there's a sense of pride, but there's also a significant amount of pressure.
Farmers have to take care of their physical and their mental health, because what's a farm without a farmer?
Watching the sun come up, that's my time. I can have a cup of coffee, and every day is a new opportunity.
That's cool.
Your hand's gotten so Yay!
Don't forget to check in on yourself. Love your mind.
When faced with complex challenges, there are people who come together to solve problems and transform lives. That's us. We are Rotary. We work with community partners to build green spaces for all to connect with nature and each other. We support local youth through mentorship and literacy programs. We're committed to causes that improve lives everywhere. Find your cause and take action with us.
Well, welcome back. We're moving on to our Great Works Wednesday guest, Heather Butscher. She's the Vice President of Health Strategies at the American Heart Association. And she'll be talking about the way students can live and maintain a healthy lifestyle. Welcome to the show, Heather.
Thank you for having me today. Glad to be here.
Well, the American Heart Association has spent more than a century shaping the conversation around heart and brain health. As health challenges evolved, what shifts have been most important in ensuring your work remains both innovative and community centered?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot of work going on around AI right now and how that's going to affect research and how we're doing surgeries. That's huge here in Houston, where we have this conglomeration of both technology
Yeah.
and the great medical center
Yeah.
that we have here. So we have some great volunteers who are really invested in making sure that we're keeping up and being a part of those conversations on the technology side and how that's going to affect our medical practices.
Wow, that's very interesting because I've been in medical environment where they have robot assisted surgery, and they
Yes.
said it's way more precise than the doctor doing it alone.
Yes, there's so much. And even when we talk to physicians, how they're doing visits and how they're taking their notes, they're just so much more effective and efficient.
Yeah.
But we also want to make sure it's ethical and
Right.
HIPAA is still in
Right.
place and all those things.
Well, your 2028 impact goal focuses not just on scientific breakthroughs, but on implementing proven solutions in policy and care. What are the biggest barriers to turning research into real world impact, especially in the underserved communities here in Houston?
Yes, research is very lengthy. And so we have some great friends down at the Texas Heart Institute. We were just down there the other day visiting with them, and to take some of the science they're doing in a lab and get it into a physician's office takes 10 years or more usually.
Wow.
And so again, we're hoping with AI maybe that'll go a little bit faster, but what we're really trying to get more into is translational science, where we have the theories that we can prove and things that we know work in the community really quickly. So getting access to nutritious foods. How can we help pantries have cold storage so that they can have that healthier food? Self-monitored blood pressure. How can we train our community and people in our community who are invested to talk to others about what high blood pressure means and how they can check that at home? So we call that translational. It's really quick and we can get to the community faster.
Wow. Well, heart disease it continues to be the leading cause of death for women, yet awareness gaps still exist. What do you think the disconnect remains, and how are initiatives like Go Red for Women and maternal health programs helping close that gap in both awareness and outcomes? And I know with women, heart attack symptoms are different than what we've been told.
Yes, a lot of it's just education. The American Heart Association has worked really hard over the last several years to make sure that both women and communities of color, our Black and Hispanic communities, are part of our research and those pools that we use. And so we're trying to make sure on that front end with the research that we're looking at the differences in those symptoms and how to address those. And then on the other end, we have a great team here in Houston, our community impact team, that goes into the community to do that education. So we have great events like the Grow Red for Women Luncheon, where we're both trying to educate, bring dollars to the research, but also bring dollars to help us get out to the community and explain that because you're a person of color, you're less likely to receive CPR. Your symptoms are different as a woman for your things that we brush off, like lower back pain, pain in the jaw, a headache, nausea, things that we don't think much about. Those can actually be signs of a coming heart attack. And so we really want to make sure that we're getting out to everyone in the community so that they understand, so that they know hands-only CPR, they know where their AEDs are, and they know those symptoms of a heart attack or how to read their blood pressure.
Right. Well, high blood pressure is often symptomless, which makes it particularly dangerous. From your perspective, what does it take to shift people from passive awareness to active management of their health?
Yes, that's what I love to hear. I'm a social worker by trade, so I love to hear empowerment. So helping people know what those numbers mean, you need a baseline. You need to know what your blood pressure is when you are calm and but it could be normal. And I mean, it could be high, even then that's your normal. And so you've got to go into the doctor and talk about what do those high readings mean? It could be low, too. And so you could be hypotensive, and there's its own concerns with that. Being pregnant has a different set of numbers that we want to look at. And again, you want to know that baseline before you're pregnant so that you know when your blood pressure is elevated and prevent any adverse birth outcomes. So really educating people, early on in their healthcare journey so that they know what normal is. So then they know what low or high is as well when they do get pregnant or as we're getting older and we need to know, oh, that's actually elevated. That's higher than it was a year ago. What's going on?
Yeah. I once had a 60/90 and the doctor, he kind of giggled and he said, "Are you alive? Are you?" Because
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
really, really
runners
hard.
and people who are very active can
Mhm.
run very low. So that means what we normally see as normal on the chart, you're actually hypertensive, so you
Mhm.
really want to know what that
Yeah.
normal baseline is. So we're trying to get more blood pressure monitors into homes so that people know that normal number.
Right.
So you know when it's elevated or
Exactly.
low.
So nutrition security is deeply tied to long-term health outcomes. How do you approach the intersection of food access, education, and equity, particularly when working with college students who may be navigating independence for the first time or not even thinking about nutrition because they're grabbing something quick on the way in and out of, their dorm or class?
Yes, we have a really neat initiative that is out of Houston called the Collegiate Pantry Collective. So we're working with universities, junior colleges, and we brought them together to say, how can we address not only food access, but really nutrition access? So really fueling our bodies to learn. So that group comes together to meet to talk about how they can best set up. A lot of colleges have food pantries now.
Yeah.
How can we set those up so that there's no stigma behind that? It's a warm and welcoming, self-selective environment with nutritious choices. So we
Yeah.
go through and help them set it up with some sometimes, always, never suggestions and things like that.
So the goal of having at least one person in every household trained is hands-on only CPR by 2013 is one of the ambitions of y'all,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. So what cultural or educational changes are needed to make life-saving skills feel accessible and essential rather than optional?
Yes. During COVID, we got really away from touching,
Mhm.
and so we had already started some research about using the breast or not using the breast. And what we found is for teens and adults, you can still do just the compressions. So we're really trying to get that hands-only CPR education out there so that people understand you can still jump in and do something. We'd love for people to have the card. If you work with kids and babies, we suggest still get that full certification. But if there's barriers to that, we could still try to get out to the masses to make sure that people know you can still jump in and do the compressions. If you're uncomfortable with that, call 911 and look for an AED.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important. So events like the Heart Ball, Go Red for Women, and the Heart Walk are highly visible moments for the organization beyond fundraising. How do these gatherings serve as a catalyst for sustained community engagement and systemic change?
Yes, well, we're very lucky here in Houston again to have the Texas Medical Center. So actually $21 million worth of funding go into the medical center right now.
Wow.
So all the research. And so those events help start and fund a lot of what's coming right out of down the street here. But then again, here on the local side, we have our community impact team focusing on nutrition access, blood pressure education, that community readiness so that we're all ready to jump in and do how we feel comfortable saving a life. And then women's health as well, getting that education
Right.
around the differences in heart attack and strokes. And
Yeah.
things.
Well, thank you, Heather Butscher, Vice President, Health Strategist for the American Heart Association. We'll have your organization's info in our post after the show. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And coming up after a quick commercial break, I'll return with Save the Date announcements.
It's Kyle's last spin on his turntable from college.
Yeah.
And the first day of Kira's new career in IT. It's the last tea party for Crystal with Miss Marshmallow.
Oh, wow.
And Sarah's first day of management training at Goodwill. When you donate items to Goodwill, you help provide skills training and career placement for people seeking to realize their potential. And the things you love get to start a new life too.
When a child is fighting a critical illness, one truth touches us all. Every child deserves a childhood. A wish sparks a ripple of hope that transforms communities far and wide. And when we grant wishes together, we create a movement of kindness, strength, and unity. Yay! Become a wishmaker today and be part of a journey that truly changes lives.
My name is Jeff. Having a traumatic brain injury is understanding you were a lot smarter before the accident. I lost so many traits. Food donations from Suncoast Center of Independent Living helped me tremendously. It can mean fully paying the bills off. That's one of the biggest gifts right there. I have a purpose again. Life goes on.
We come from a long line of farmers, and there's a sense of pride, but there's also a significant amount of pressure.
Farmers have to take care of their physical and their mental health because what's a farm without a farmer?
Watching the sun come up, that's my time. I can have a cup of coffee, and every day is a new opportunity.
That's cool.
Your hand's gotten so
Yay!
Don't forget to check in on yourself. Love, your mind.
When faced with complex challenges, there are people who come together to solve problems and transform lives. That's us. We are Rotary. We work with community partners to build green spaces for all to connect with nature and each other. We support local youth through mentorship and literacy programs. We're committed to causes that improve lives everywhere. Find your cause and take action with us.
At St. Jude, we don't care who cures cancer, we just need to advance the cure. The heart of St. Jude is to take care of children with catastrophic diseases and to advance their cure rates, but we need to be able to do that for everyone. It's a bold initiative to try and bump cure rates all around the world, but we should, is our commitment.
Community is the way we find our strength and share our hope. It's the way dinner on the table brings a family closer together. It's the way we make sure his first chapter book is the first step on his path to greatness. It's the way we rally in hard times and rise back up stronger than ever. United is the way we come together so everyone can thrive. Join us at unitedway.org.
Welcome back. Here are some events happening around HCC. First up is a faculty art exhibition by Jessica Kruder, who is an artist whose work centers on themes of embodiment, memory, and transformation in the natural world. Her recent work, Collapse in Alchemy, reflects cycles of presence and return. That's happening March 8th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Eastside Art Gallery on Rustic Street. And HCC Northeast is excited to be part of the upcoming Wellness Expo. Stop by their booth to explore academic programs, learn about student resources, and connect. Whether you're beginning your educational journey or advancing your career, they're there to support you every step of the way. And that's happening March 7th from 8:30 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. at the Acres Home Multi-Service Center on West Montgomery Road. And take a break and discover healthy ways to manage stress at using hobbies to cope with stress. This engaging session will explore how creative outlets and personal interests can support overall well-being and mental health. This is open to students, faculty, and staff. The event is hosted by Southwest Counseling and Ability Services. So for more information, please contact layla.ruker@hcc.edu. And that is happening March 17th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the HCC Stafford campus. And coming up for Throwback Thursday, we're traveling back in time to explore an upcoming event that celebrates life on the frontier. Tune in to learn more about a local historic site that once served as a safe resting place for settlers on their journeys. Discover the stories, traditions, and history that made the spot an essential stop along the way. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.